Dear soul, have you ever felt like life is a maze, where every path seems blocked by fear, doubt, or quiet disappointment? You've longed for a miracle, for a breakthrough, but it never seems to come. Perhaps it's because you've been waiting for something to happen outside of you, while the miracle truly has always begun within. When a person transforms their belief, they transform their world. That's the deeply healing message left to us by Florence Scovel Shinn, the pioneer of the idea that faith is a creative force. In these first 10 seconds, I want to whisper a simple truth into your soul, one that has been forgotten far too long. Life is not working against you. It is mirroring you. And if you want a new future, you don't need to control the world. You simply need to begin with the beliefs within yourself. In a world that chases results, Florence invites us inward to the place where all true miracles begin. She taught that faith is not just wishful thinking, but a calm knowing that what you desire has already been given, even if your physical eyes cannot yet see it. That kind of faith, when paired with sincere words, clear emotions, and vivid inner imagery, becomes a powerful force that opens the door to miracles. Not maybe, but certainly. Not if you're lucky, but when you are ready to believe. In this journey ahead, you'll discover why faith as small as a mustard seed can still move the mountain of your circumstances, how heartfelt words can literally shift your reality, how to build an unshakable inner vision that becomes a magnetic frequency for all that is good, and how to release emotional walls like your own inner Jericho so you can finally enter your promised land. I know you're not here for just another feel-good message. You're here to touch a truth so deep it changes how you live, how you believe, and how you walk each day. So let's continue, where in the next part, we'll open up Florence Scovel Shinn's perspective on the true power of belief and why miracles are not random events, but the natural result of a soul that has awakened. Dear one, when we speak of faith creates reality, many may dismiss it as just a spiritual idea, a comforting metaphor perhaps. But to Florence Scovel Shinn, a woman far ahead of her time, faith was not an escape from reality. It was the very substance from which reality is formed. And you'll come to know this not just through feelings, but through the direct experiences that unfold in your life. In this section, we'll explore the first and most essential truth: faith is the material of manifestation, a statement that is both simple and revolutionary. Imagine this. With every passing moment, you are sending out invisible signals from your heart, your emotions, and your deepest beliefs. And the universe in its perfect intelligence responds not to what you want, but to what you believe is already true. Florence wrote, "Faith is the divine catalyst that connects a person to the miracle already prepared for them. But that miracle cannot take form if your inner world is still filled with doubt, fear, or worry. Because worry is faith, just faith in the wrong direction. And whatever you hold strongly in your emotions, good or bad, will bloom into your reality." The beautiful truth is, you don't need to see to start believing. In fact, it's because you believe that you will eventually see. In her book, Your Word is Your Wand, Florence tells the story of a woman who had only $2, but she chose to believe with a heart full of the image of an overflowing purse, and soon she received a $6,000 gift. What changed? Not her effort. Her belief shifted from lack to abundance. This is not fantasy, it is spiritual law, just as precise as gravity. When you truly believe so fully that you begin to give thanks before it arrives, then it must arrive. And here's the turning point: faith is not waiting, it is the state of already being ready. You no longer hope for the miracle. You live as though it has already happened. You speak as one who has received. You think as one who already owns it. You walk as one who lives inside the miracle each and every day. And if you're reading this thinking, "But I've already believed, and nothing has happened," then I invite you to listen deeply. Perhaps your belief has only reached the surface level of the mind, while fear is still quietly holding space deep in your emotional body. Because emotion is the truest indicator of what you're actually believing. Try this. Imagine receiving amazing news, a breakthrough, an answered prayer. What do you feel? Joy, relief, peace. That's the energy that activates the law. So even if nothing outside has changed, live from that emotion now, because your inner vibration is the strongest message you can send to the universe. Florence wrote, "No force, no striving is needed. Right belief spoken at the right time is enough to open the door no one else could unlock." You don't need to control the world. You only need to curate the beliefs you hold within. That belief will light the path. It will plant the seed. It will become the magnet for everything already yours in the divine design. So begin today with this affirmation. I believe that all good is already available to me, and I am ready to receive it under grace and in perfect ways. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Feel it fully, and let faith do its work. If this section awakens something in you, share your voice with us. This community exists to nourish souls who resonate at the same frequency. A place where we lift each other up and create miracles together. Leave a comment, "I am ready to believe," or share your story of a time when belief led to a miracle in your own life. In the next part, we'll unlock one of Florence's greatest truths. Words, when paired with faith, become the most powerful miracle makers. Why can just one heartfelt affirmation transform a situation, a destiny, even a lifetime? Stay tuned to find out. Dear one, once you've planted the seed of unshakable faith, the kind that knows good is already on its way, you then enter the next sacred step, speaking your reality into being. Florence Scovel Shinn called words your magic wand. Not as a metaphor, but as a deep spiritual law. Why? Because words are faith turned into sound. They are the tangible vibration of your soul, the command you send to the universe that says, "I am ready to receive this now." In Florence's world, you don't need to scream to be heard. You only need to speak rightly from a place of belief. And when your words come forth with full conviction, they become seeds of transformation, not only within your mind, but in your outer world as well. Imagine this. Every time you speak, you are sowing a command into the fertile soil of your subconscious. And the subconscious does not argue. It does not question. It accepts and then begins to build. If you say, "I never have enough," the subconscious responds, "Understood, I will create more lack." But if you say, "I naturally and easily attract all that is good," it answers, "Yes, I will make this true." Florence did not teach us to speak positive words mindlessly. She taught us to speak what we have already claimed as true. She said, "Do not force the vision. Do not strain to imagine. Let the divine mind bring the image to you when you speak the right word." We do not speak because we hope. We speak because we know. We do not chant affirmations like lifeless scripts. We declare them as eternal truths our soul has always known. Feel this through one of Florence's inspired affirmations. "I have a wonderful work in a wonderful way. I give wonderful service and receive wonderful pay." When you say it, take a deep breath. Let it move not just through your lips, but through your heart into your cells. Say it as if the email confirming your dream job just landed in your inbox. Say it as someone who has already signed a contract with the miraculous. Because Florence taught us words spoken from a doubtful mind are empty echoes. But words released from a believing heart carry creative power. Many ask, "I've been saying affirmations. Why hasn't anything changed?" And the answer is simple yet piercing. Because you don't yet believe what you're saying. You repeat the words, but your soul whispers doubt. That's like planting a seed, then digging it up every day to see if it has sprouted. Affirmations only work when spoken from inner stillness, from the state Florence called consciousness aligned with truth. So the next time you affirm something, do it in a spirit of quiet gratitude, as if it's already been gifted to you long before you even asked. Would you share one of your favorite affirmations with us in the comments? Something that resonates deeply with your soul. For example, each morning I wake with gratitude and miracles greet me in every moment. Or I am learning to speak what I believe and to believe in what I speak. This community is not just here to listen, it's here to resonate, to echo your frequency, to hold your words as sacred seeds of light for someone else's soul. In the next part, we'll step into an even more magical realm. The power of inner imagery. How visualization, feeling, and belief merge with words to create reality. Because Florence affirmed the image you hold in your heart. The emotion you nourish will become the life you live in. Stay with us, dear one. Have you ever wondered why some people can simply visualize what they want, and before long it appears as if they tapped a magic wand, while others, despite prayers, affirmations, and constant effort, feel like their desires remain just out of reach? Florence Scovel Shinn answered this question with a simple yet profound truth. You cannot receive what you cannot imagine. In other words, your inner vision is the map that guides all things toward you. In this part, we go deeper into the third sacred layer. Inner imagery is the glue that fuses faith and words into physical form. Picture this. Your mind is the projector, life is the screen. You can't change the movie by adjusting the screen. You must change the film inside. Every thought, every imagined scene, every emotion you hold long enough becomes imprinted in your internal reel, and eventually you will watch it play out in real life. Florence called this creative imaging, the conscious ability to visualize a new reality, vividly, clearly, and with emotional truth. She taught imagine as if it has already come. Feel as if you are living in it now. If you long for a loving relationship, don't just fantasize that someone might come someday. Close your eyes. See your hand resting in theirs. Feel the warmth of their eyes. Hear their voice whispering love to you. Let your heart experience it, not as a dream, but as a memory you're reliving. Today, neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, the rewiring of the brain through repeated imagery tied to strong emotion. But Florence knew this nearly a century ago. When you hold an image with faith feeling and right words, you plant a seed that cannot fail. And here's the grace. You don't need to visualize how it will happen. Leave the how to divine intelligence. All you must do is hold the final feeling. Wholeness, peace, joy, relief, gratitude. Florence once advised a struggling woman, "Don't worry about where the money will come from. Just imagine joyfully paying your bills and giving thanks for what you've received." A few days later, the exact amount arrived from an unexpected source. The universe doesn't require your logic. It only asks for your faith, your word, and your vision. Think of your life as music, and you are the conductor. If you imagine yourself as a victim, the music grows heavy and discordant. But if you see yourself as a creator, the tone shifts, the melody lifts, and everything begins to harmonize. Let's build a community of those who no longer live by circumstance, but by inner vision. In the comments below, write an image you choose to hold in your mind this week. For example, I see myself laughing joyfully in a sunlit home with someone I love. Or I imagine opening an email confirming my dream job is now mine. When you share, you're not only planting a seed in your own heart, you're inspiring faith in someone else's. And once you've embraced the power of inner imagery, you'll be ready for what's next. How to release the emotions that block miracles. Old anger, fear, envy, shame. The invisible walls that keep your promised land out of reach. As Florence once wrote, you cannot enter the land of promise while still building walls with the thoughts of yesterday. Stay with us for the next part, where we'll learn how to tear down those walls so you can finally live free, live creatively, and live in miracles. Dear one, we've walked together through the sacred steps of faith words and inner imagery, the holy trio that forms your reality in miraculous ways. But Florence Scovel Shinn always emphasized one more vital truth. Even if you believe deeply, even if you speak rightly, Even if you visualize powerfully, you will still be blocked if your heart is holding on to negative emotions. And so we arrive at a lesson you cannot skip release. Let go of the old, so the miracle can finally enter. Florence once compared these lingering emotions to the walls of Jericho. Each of us has a Jericho A place where our dreams, freedom, love, and success live. But it's surrounded by the thick walls of resentment, jealousy, grief, or regret. You may plant a beautiful seed, through your faith, your words, your vision. But if the soil is poisoned by bitterness, that seed cannot grow. That's why Florence gently urges us to practice forgiveness, not just toward others, but toward ourselves. Not because others deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. She once guided a woman jobless and struggling to forgive her sister, whom she had resented for years. The woman resisted at first, but when she finally let go, just a few days later, a stranger who once owed her a kindness offered her a job. Why? Because the moment the block is released, energy flows again. And the good you've been praying for is finally allowed to enter. In The Secret Door to Success, Florence wrote, resentment and envy are locked doors. Forgiveness is the key that opens them. It is the key to your promised land. If someone has hurt you, you don't need to erase the past. You don't need to instantly feel love for them. But you can choose to say, I release the need to control that story. I set them free, and in doing so, I set myself free. And if the person you need to forgive is yourself, for a mistake, a regret, a past decision, Florence's message is even clearer. Self-condemnation is the surest way to block your own miracle. She taught, when you forgive yourself, you're telling the universe, I've learned the lesson, and now I'm ready to move forward. Don't keep yourself stuck in an emotional loop. What you don't release will repeat until you choose to let go. Today, I invite you into a simple yet powerful ritual. Leave a comment below. Share one thing you're ready to release. Maybe I release my fear of failure, or I forgive myself for doubting my own worth for too long. Write it as a commitment, as a way of removing one brick from your inner Jericho. You are not alone. We're dismantling these walls together, because once your heart is free, your faith can fly, and nothing can block a soul that has lightened its load. In the next and final step of this transformational journey, we will arrive at the sacred act of movement, taking aligned action as if the miracle has already happened. Because Florence once said, faith does not sit still and wait. Faith moves, speaks, and lives as if the good is already here. And by doing so, it must come. Dear one, now that your faith has been awakened, your words refined, your inner vision clear, and your heart freed from resentment, you now stand at a sacred threshold action, walking as if what you've prayed for is already here. This is the final and most essential step Florence Scovel Shinn taught. On the path from belief to reality, don't just believe in silence, live as someone who has already received. Florence once told the story of a woman praying for a new job. But day after day, the woman remained unkempt, discouraged, and hesitant to send out applications. Florence looked at her and said, if you truly believed the job was yours, you would dress as if you were going to work today. You would speak as if your paycheck had already come. You would act as if what you want is already a living truth. And the miracle. Within a week of shifting her attitude and actions, a job offer arrived, a divine response to a heart aligned with the right frequency. So what's the lesson? Miracles don't come so you'll believe. They come because you already do. When you begin to act as if you're living your dream, you send a powerful signal to the universe. I am a match for this good. I am ready. Ask yourself, if you truly believed you were healthy, how would you eat, rest, and move? If you knew you were worthy of love, how would you care for your spirit, your body, your boundaries? If you believed abundance was already yours, how would you speak, decide, and show up in the world? Florence didn't ask us to pretend. She invited us to align our behavior with our belief, not to perform, but to live authentically from the future we already know is unfolding. One of her most empowering affirmations is, "I walk by unwavering faith that all good is now happening for me, even if my eyes cannot yet see it." Write this down. Place it where you'll see it each day. Let it guide how you walk, how you speak, how you show up. And if you've ever practiced this sacred step, acting as if I invite you to share your story in the comments. What changed for you? When you started living like the miracle had already arrived. Or if you're just now ready to take your first step in faith. Write it below as a commitment. I will walk as if we are here to witness you, to believe with you, and to create miracles alongside you. This journey isn't just spiritual theory, it is a way of living. You don't have to do every step perfectly. You only need to believe enough to keep walking. And up next, we'll enter the final chapter of this journey, where every lesson, every truth, every shift is woven together into a complete living symphony of the miraculous, where you won't just understand with your mind, but you'll feel in your heart that when faith becomes reality, it's because you walked with it from within. Beloved soul, we've walked together through a sacred spiritual journey, where faith words, inner vision, emotional release, and aligned action have formed the divine rhythm behind every miracle life can offer. But the most heart-opening truth is this: none of it lies somewhere out there. It has always lived within you. Florence Scovel Shinn never gave us abstract theories. She handed us a staff of light so that each of us could walk through our own shadows of fear, doubt, and pain, and move into the radiant space of gratitude, peace, and inner miracles. She believed that every soul, including you reading these very words, has a sacred door within. That secret door to success can't be forced open with frantic effort or empty knowledge. It opens only when you align with the divine law of the universe, the law of faith. And you, dear one, already have everything you need to walk through that door. You have faith, even if it began as small as a mustard seed. You have words that become miracles when spoken from a soul that knows. You have inner imagery, a blueprint for all that you desire to build. You have released the wind that clears the dust from the window of your soul. And now you have movement, the living declaration that says, "I am ready to live the life I once only dreamed of." Now I invite you to pause for just a moment. Place your hand on your heart. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And ask yourself, if I truly believed, how would I live? Let that question sink into your being. Let it become a soft whisper that guides you each morning. And if something in this video stirred your heart, if you felt clarity, comfort, or simply the reassurance that you're not alone on this path, please share your reflection in the comments. A realization that touched you, an affirmation you're choosing to hold close, or simply, I am ready to live with unwavering faith. Your words are not just words, they are energetic offerings to this community. And you never know, your sentence might be the exact miracle someone else needed to read today. If this message touched your heart, click subscribe and turn on notifications, so you won't miss the next chapter of this journey, where Florence continues to guide you deeper into intuition, faith, and healing from within. You can also share this video with a friend, someone who may need to be reminded. Nothing is impossible when you believe deeply and act with love. And always remember, you don't need to do something grand. All it takes is this: one better thought, one brighter word, one warmer image, one deeper forgiveness, one faithful step forward. As Florence once wrote, each day is a new opportunity to align with the divine flow, where all good is already waiting for your yes. Let today be the day you say yes to your life,